Good morning, ladies. Michele Molitor here. I am the founder and creator of the Wonder Woman Unite Lean In Circles. I'm so glad that you're here today. Thank you for joining me. Um, we have a lot to cover today. I'm very, very excited about our special call today. We're going to be having a special 90-minute session on being enough to overcome that internal conversation, those limiting beliefs of I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not something enough that gets in your way of being the most amazing, phenomenal Wonder Woman that I know you are. So before we get into that though, just let me, for those of you who are new to the Wonder Woman Unite group, let me just give you a quick synopsis of what we're all about, right? I created this group about a year and a half ago with the intention of creating a place to foster rich, bold discussions that collectively help you find your voice, step into your confidence, and help craft your leadership style that is neither bitchy nor bossy, but really just phenomenal, powerful beyond measure, so that you can really own your power, step into your confidence, speak your truth, and be the amazing woman, leader, mother, business owner, professional that you are. And so we have these calls, they're free, and we have them every third Friday of the month at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. That's 12:30 Eastern Time and 5:30 British UK. So no matter where you are in the world, please figure out the math for yourself. We have right now, we're up to 227 women from all corners of the planet who have joined our happy, merry band of amazing Wonder Women, from Asia to Australia to South America to South Africa to Russia, to all corners of the planet. So I'm so happy that you're here. And for those of you who are listening into the recording, thank you for joining us if you couldn't be here live with us on the call. So today we're going to be talking about being enough, because you are enough. You always have been enough. You always will be enough. But somewhere, somehow along the way, you started to tell yourself that maybe you weren't good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, tall enough, short enough, skinny enough, fat enough, whatever it is. We're all perfect. We're perfectly imperfect just the way we are, just the way you are. And so when we can get that at a deeper cellular level, it shifts everything. Because the more we can love ourselves from the inside out and create that groundedness, it has a profound ripple effect on everything else in your world. I guarantee it. So today we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be having some group discussions around where are the places that you get stuck? What is that internal conversation that you have with yourself that is disempowering versus empowering? We're going to talk about those and then how to shift them. We're going to talk about the principles of the mind. Excuse me. We're going to talk about the principles of the mind so you can learn how to shift those things all on your own. So the outcomes and the intentions for our call today are essentially to also create a safe space for you, to gain some useful tools and insights about yourself, to perhaps notice some of the blind spots that you have that you can't really see, that thing that's stuck on the end of your nose that you can't quite get off, you don't know how to get to it. And to share some valuable nuggets of information and tools for helping you grow personally and professionally. That's always my intention for these calls, and to give you value that you can immediately put to use in your life. And then as a bonus for being on the call today, being with us, I'm also going to be sharing out with you after the call via email my latest ebook called Saying No with Grace and Grit, which also includes a guided relaxation and hypnotherapy MP3 recording. I know you're going to love it. It's very relaxing. It's about 25 minutes long, and it'll really help you, again, say no to the things that don't serve you, to set the boundaries appropriately, and to create more space and time for you in your life. So with that said, I've been in search of different ways, shapes, and forms to be the best coach that I can be, to be the best human being that I can be. And I've done a lot of stuff. I've searched under a lot of rocks, and I found a lot of really amazing tools. And they've helped me. Each one has helped me unfold, uncover, release things that no longer served me. And last year, I came across the work of Marissa Peer, who is a world-renowned hypnotherapist, and has worked with A-listers around the world, and over the past 30 years has developed this remarkable methodology called rapid transformational hypnotherapy. And in working with her, the results that I got in such a short period of time were so profound that I was first blown away. And so I went on to get trained and certified in the work that she does. And so the information I'm going to share with you today is based on her work. It's been profound for me in my shifting and my learning. And this is my way of giving back, because I know that we all have this challenge in some way, shape, or form that runs around in our mind. And I really wanted to share this with you. So because of this work, I've actually shifted my entire coaching practice around and then integrated it into, and I now call it rapid transformational coaching, and have developed a 30-day rewiring breakthrough experience that is so profoundly transformative and powerful and effective in weeks, not months or years. It just really, really lights me up, and it's such an honor for me to do this work. But I'll tell you more about that later. But I know, as Wonder Women that you all have a lot on your plate, and you all can easily get caught, even if it's temporarily, in a place of overwhelm or burnout or dissatisfaction in many ways. And more often than not, that can create an internal conversation with yourself that pops up in sneaky, unseen ways that can eat away at your confidence, and can eat away at your feeling of being enough, of can I do this? And when that little voice gets embedded and it starts playing on repeat in your mind all of the time, it can be really detrimental and take you down the rabbit hole, which is not a good thing. So I'm going to do a quick screen share to show you where we're going today. And then we're going to dive in. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about the inner and outer game of coaching. And the inner and outer game of life. And I'm going to have you meet Amy. She's your amygdala. We're going to have some conversation around the stories that we tell ourselves and where they get in our way. And then we're going to go through the principles of the mind. So this is ways for you to take back your power and overcome that voice in your mind. And then we're going to do a special 15 to 20 minute transformational relaxation guided hypnotherapy session with you guys. So after that, we'll have a Q&A, and then we'll end the call. So that's where we're headed today. So really quickly here, there we go. No, I don't want to go there yet. All right, so let me unshare this. I'm still learning how to do these two things all together. It's like a little dance. Do a little dance. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I entertain myself this way, as you guys can tell. So the inner versus the outer game of life. We all have had challenges that have impacted us, good, bad, or indifferent, big or small, catastrophic to the mundane. And each of those events in our life create conscious and unconscious beliefs that get locked into our mind, and they become the drivers. They're running in the background, the program, like your computer. There's always the programs running in the background, right? And so these beliefs that we're operating from can be empowering or disempowering. But the truth is, when in the moment of those events, we're just trying to survive. That's what Amy is all about. Amy is your amygdala. And Amy is, your amygdala is part of your limbic brain. It's hardwired. You can't get rid of it. It's our fight or flight or freeze mechanism. And Amy's job is really just to keep you safe, right? That's all she wants to do. She wants to keep you safe and alive, because that's how we, move the race forward, if you will. And so the problem is that Amy becomes that inner critic. Some of you might know her as the committee, the gremlin, the little people, the angel, the devil on your shoulder. She has so many names, right? And essentially, she just wants to keep you safe. But the thing is once she decides something, she holds on to it tight, and she won't let it go until you tell her otherwise, right? So what we're going to be talking about today is how do we help Amy let go of some of those decisions she's made about how to keep you safe, how to let them go and replace them with new, empowering, positive thoughts. Because the truth is that Amy comes up with these things even when you're itty bitty, right? You might even still be in vitro, in the womb, when some of these beliefs come to light, and they impact you throughout your entire life. The good news is that you can always change your mind. You can always change how you react and respond to any particular event, okay? So my question for you all, and you can start typing in the chat box here, is what are some of those stories that you're carrying around? What are some of the limiting beliefs that you have that are constantly getting in your way? They bubble up at very inconvenient times and keep you stuck, right? So let me give you an example, and you guys can start chiming in the chat box. So I have one client that I've worked with who happens to be a coach, and she's done pretty well, pretty successful. And she was looking to get to that next level of success in her business. And every time she would get really close, this fear response would kick in, and she would start having self-doubt and worry and fear, so much so that would create an attack of inflammatory bowel syndrome, which is really not fun if you've ever experienced that. So it was really physically impacting her ability to move forward. So it's, stuff like that can really get in our way. It might be a conversation in our mind. It also might be a physical impediment that's getting in our way. Because when we're stressed, those are emotions that aren't getting processed properly. And so they end up getting stuck in different places and creating physical, mental, emotional yellow flags on the play that are trying to get your attention. And so I'm going to unmute the line here, and you guys, either raise your hand on your Zoom screen or type into the chat box and, with your name, and we will, have a discussion about that. So what are some of the challenges that your Amy might be giving you? Nobody has an Amy?
This is Jen. Not being able to say no, always having to say yes to everything.
Okay. Not being able, to say no. I'm going to put these in the chat box for those. I'm not creative enough. Okay, great. I had one that was, I don't know enough. So I don't know enough yet. I'm not expert enough. So that's why I became a learning junkie. I was constantly looking for programs to enhance my learning so that I would feel like I knew enough. Who else? What are some other ones? Not valued or worthy. Mm-hmm. And so let me ask Jen a question, since she was brave enough to pop in first. So not being able to say no to things, how does that impact you?
I thought you were going to ask where it came from. But so, because I connect it with not being, constantly having to prove myself. And so the way that impacts me is I get overloaded and stressed and overcommit.
Okay. So having to prove yourself and overcommit. Great. And how does that impact your health?
It gets in the way of taking care of me.
Yeah. Yeah. Who else has that challenge of taking on too much and then you can't take care of yourself? Anybody? I know I do. Not allowing myself time to relax. Yep. Let's see. Y'all can speak up too. I've unmuted everybody, so go ahead and pipe in.
We're all trying to follow the rules, right?
You're doing a great job.
Type in the chat box instead of like verbally using our skill sets that we were given.
Granting myself time to just be. So how does that show up for you, Kathleen?
Yeah, for me, it's a lot about really grounding myself to take a breath. Because when I'm doing, and for those of you that might watch The Walking Dead, I've been a cast member of The Walking Dead in the past, kind of just roaming the world and doing and not being. And so when I do be, I show up for the party. It's really like I feel what's going on, opposed to planning something, having an ending, and then not really being able to like authentically show up and talk about what I just experienced. And it's a loss. I have a lot of those in the past, so I don't do that a lot now, but it's really easy to get in my head and not keep my feet on the ground.
Yeah.
If I can comment, I think that's a great description of doing and not being in the whole Walking Dead, because what I find is I'm so wrapped up in what I have to do that I don't enjoy the things that I'm doing that I would normally. I used to bring great joy, and I go and spend the time, but I don't get the joy out of it that I used to.
Oh, that's a great thing. You've got a joy stealer going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Angie, you made a comment in the chat box. Tell us more about that.
I'm unmuted now.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. The South has some wonderful attributes to it. It also has some unwonderful attributes to it. And Southern women have a tendency to have gotten themselves stuck in 6th grade. So when you're amongst groups of women, you always have someone who is their problem, not mine, that's jealous, striking out, making catty comments, trying to make you feel left out, those kinds of things. And that kind of play seems to go on a lot. And it's like, dear God, I'm 50 years old. I learned as a child to be nice to everyone and follow through with that. And other people don't. And it just seems like, I don't know, I've had people show up and that really gets me off guard when I recognize these people that do that are really, they shouldn't matter to me. And materially, they don't matter to me. But that's the kind of stuff that gets stuck in my head and replays. So I've been trying to really work on myself and be better Teflon coated and have my confidence being based on me, not dependent on other people's approval. Because there's always going to be someone who disapproves. And typically the reason they're trying to pull you down is because they're beneath you.
And that's such a beautifully said. Having grown up in the South, I know that all too well. And
well, Michele, you've seen me go through it, and I've seen you go through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Angie and I have known each other for a way long time.
Let's not discuss how way long.
But we're so much wiser now, aren't we? Dang big. Ooh. Anyway, but yeah, you know, coming back to the science of this, right? We're all energy, and we vibrate at an energy frequency. And depending on our emotions, that frequency is either high or low. So negative emotions vibrate lower, and positive emotions vibrate higher. And you know, the law of physics is like attracts like. So if you're vibrating at a high frequency and somebody comes into your world that's at a low frequency, it will make them uncomfortable, literally, physically, unconsciously, and they will try to pull you down without fail. Absolutely.
Without fail.
And so they will do, say, be ways that will try to pull you down to their way of being, so they will feel better about themselves. Now, they might not be conscious to this at all, which is where the zombies come in. There's a lot of them out there. And our job, our role is to maintain that higher vibration, that sense of groundedness about who we are and what we have to offer the world, so that we can stay at that higher vibration and hopefully inspire them to step up to where we are instead of trying to pull us down. And I'm sure a lot of you on this call are probably similar in this way. I happen to be very empathic. I feel people's emotions around me, whether they're next to me or they're on the other side of the planet. This is good and not so good. It's very helpful as a coach, right, when I'm working with people, but it can be very challenging when you're working in groups with folks, or you're in a relationship with someone who's not in the same place as you, right?
And consider, I'm very empathic too, how it feels to deal with people and their feelings around their money, their feelings around their finances. And one of the things you find out, even when I'm not sitting in my advisor seat, when I'm out and amongst groups of friends, different people are very uncomfortable around me just because they're uncomfortable about their own money. Now, I'm not their advisor, and they're not my job. They don't pay me. I don't work with them. I can't tell you anything about their money. But whatever they have going, you know, through their psyche about whatever their thoughts about their financial position, they typically take that out on me.
Yeah. And, you know, bless you for doing the work that you do, because money is a very emotional topic, right?
It has a lot more to do with behavior than it ever has, or in psychology, than it ever has to do with math.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And because there's so much energetic charge around it. Again, we're energy. Money is energy, right? Everything is energy when you boil it all down. That's just science. And so when you can understand that about money and all the other things that you're dealing with that have emotional charges to it, when you can remove the emotion from it and look at it just for what it is, you can have a very different perspective about it, right? It can shift things in a very powerful way. So to help you shift things, I want to give you, I'm going to take you through the principles of the mind that, again, is science, and will help you deal with and combat some of these different things that you guys are putting in the chat box, you know, having to prove myself and overcommitting, not taking enough time for me to relax, not getting enough sleep, having that negative conversation on replay in my head, etc. And Amy is sneaky that way, because she just, again, she loves you. Oh, she loves you so much, and she just wants to protect you. God bless her. And she can be very annoying. And so you have to, first recognize when there is that constant repetitive thought going on in your mind that is detrimental to you, that is not serving you, that is not lifting you up and empowering you. and then rewiring the tape. So that's what we're going to talk about next. So let me just do another screen share, and I'll pull those slides up here so you can see where we're going. Okay, I can get my, oops, there we go. Okay, so principles of the mind. These are really great ways for you to help master your success, to master your mindset, and to maintain that higher vibration, that more positive mindset that is, I know, where we all want to be, right? And so the first one is your mind always does what it thinks that you want it to do, right? What is ever in your very best interest for survival. Again, this is Amy, your amygdala, trying to protect you. It's hardwired in your limbic brain. You can't get rid of it. So you have to tell your mind very clearly what you want it to do. And as I said a moment ago, you have to notice first the self-talk that you're having with yourself on a regular basis that's getting in your way, right? So if you have a song on repeat in your head that's stuck, like, you know, the Jingle Bells song that's coming in any time now, you get to notice, like, oh, wow, that's really driving me crazy. How do I change the channel with a conversation that's more empowering? I can do it. I am enough. I am of value. So your job is to give your mind better directions and instructions on the daily, okay? That's number one. The second principle of the mind is to move away from pain and towards pleasure. Again, this is Amy at work. She's trying to keep you safe. And so her job is literally always to move you away from pain and towards pleasure, towards safety. And so if you can start to link pleasure with your success, then Amy's going to be happier, right? So you have to choose what you want to link pleasure and pain to. So the only way to avoid pain is by telling yourself about that given task or event or thing. It's what are you telling yourself? So for example, unlike Angie, doing accounting is really not my favorite thing. And every day I'm getting better with math. Every day I'm getting better with math. Every day I'm getting better with math. So when it's time for me to sit down and do my books, I'm like, I love doing my books. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So I'm lying to my brain essentially like, yes, this is so exciting. Because when I get into this,
not like it.
When I get into that excited state, it actually
something fun and you don't do your accounting.
Well, if I'm telling myself that is more exciting, that it's interesting, that I want to move towards it, it actually releases happy chemicals in my brain, serotonin and dopamine, which help me want to move forward, to create achievement and to check that box, right?
Yeah, it makes you, it helps you chemically move your body forward instead of getting stuck in the crazy whirlwind of what you're starting to create inside your body of, I can't stand this, it doesn't work, therefore I'm just going to fail.
Absolutely. Because when you get stuck in that mindset, what happens? Your body releases cortisol. And cortisol is a stress, it's released based on stress. And what that does is it lowers your immune system, and it gives you that little tire around your belly. It creates belly fat, and nobody likes belly fat. Well, okay, no, belly fat's just fine. And if you're trying to get rid of belly fat, then cortisol is not your friend. Take it from someone who knows, right? So these three things are key, right? So in moving away from pain towards pleasure, you can confuse your mind to overcome your fears. So you can lie to your brain, cheat your fears, and steal back your confidence, right? Lie to your brain, cheat your fears, and steal back your confidence. And that will help you get out of the, oh gosh, this is horrible, I hate it, I don't want to do it, I'm going to procrastinate, I'm going to feel bad, I'm going to eat something I don't want to eat to avoid it. And instead convince yourself, even if it's momentarily, that you can do this and you're moving towards it with greater delight. All right. The third principle of the mind, you only respond to two things. You respond to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. So what are the words and the images that are going around in your mind? What are you seeing? What are you repeating daily to yourself? Are those images, those thoughts, are they lifting you up or are they taking you down? Because if they're taking you down, the first thing is to notice that. And then you can change it, because any of these thoughts, any of these images that you're having in your mind creates that emotional charge because of the meaning that you are giving it. And you can change the meaning at any time. You can rewrite it, right? We've all had really painful, uncomfortable things happen to us in various ways, shapes, and forms. And it's not to discount them in any way. It's just to say, okay, I'm done with feeling the pain of that or suffering about it, and I'm going to change the tape and give it a different meaning that is either neutral or more buoyant for me. Does that make sense? Great. So, for example, you can see the glass is half empty or the glass is half full. It's all in how you see it. It's all in what you tell yourself, right? So it's all about how much of an emotional charge do you want to give something. And in doing so, the more negative the emotion charges, the more you're giving your power away to Amy. So this is about how you take back your power, right? So that you are in control, you're grounded versus being run by your fears, your worry, your suffering. Okay? The next one is making the familiar unfamiliar and making the unfamiliar familiar. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Your brain likes familiarity, right? And if you've got a negative soundtrack playing in your head of I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't know enough, you're literally creating a well-worn groove in your synaptic connections in your brain. And so when you come up against a stress response, your brain goes to that familiar track, right? Just like a record player. That's the well-worn groove. We're going to go there. And so when you start to rewire your brain with more empowering thoughts, you then have to take what's initially unfamiliar, I am good enough, I am smart enough, I am talented enough, and rinse, repeat that enough so it becomes the new familiar, and the old track, the old mindset of I'm not good enough, I'm not this or that or the other thing, and it becomes the unfamiliar. It starts, the synaptic connections literally start to break apart when something is not used, right? You know that saying, use it or lose it? Well, that's what we're talking about here. So the more you can create familiarity with new, positive, empowering mindsets, the more empowered you will become by those mindsets, even when you come up against a stress response. So noticing how those familiar negative thoughts are rolling around in your mind, so you can start to literally rewire your brain for better performance, better behaviors, while you create these new familiar patterns that are positive and empowering. So, yeah, Kathleen, you have a question.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say on that note is, for me, I call it, like, I think I learned it from you, Michele, I'm sure I did, the ABC, right? Be aware, breathe, and then be curious, because most of my life I was numbing the pain with all kinds of behaviors because that's how I was taught. Instead of sitting in the emotion, feeling it, and then letting it go through, I kept numbing and numbing. And what I didn't realize was that when you numb the pain, you numb the joy. And so when you can feel that emotion and not direct all your energy towards it, right? It feels it in a way. And I used the example yesterday with our CEO. I said I very easily could have became volcanic because of my energy that I'm like Michele. I can be very here, or I can be very, I can be really high or really low. I really is trying to be centered. So, I'm curious if anybody on the phone has like an example from this week of where you really felt like, wow, I stopped my energy from going from, I feel really good to kind of volcanic, and kind of how you dealt with that.
kind of volcanic. That's a good one.
I was borderline volcanic. Well, I can share an example of this for everyone. I was dealing with a contractor that I had hired to do some work for my company, and he kept not performing, and I kept giving him the benefit of the doubt because he was a friend. I was trying to, help him out, and yet it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so finally I just had to say thank you, but this isn't working, and fire him. And it was challenging to do. And in response to that, he came back with all sorts of crazy. and so it was challenging for me to not go volcanic on him. And like, okay, I have to walk my talk here. How do I stay calm and centered and respond versus react? And that's not always an easy thing to do when you're dealing with that level of crazy. So Kathleen actually helped talk me down out of the tree. So thank you for that.
Well, it's so, it's so hard to realize that when somebody says something that we attach an emotion to it, to their body language, to the language that comes out of their mouth. And, we should all over ourselves all the time, right? We allow their crap to become our crap, and we take it on instead of separation of church and state and saying, this is my life. Even though I'm following whatever's happening, I still have to lead it authentically.
What seems to be frustrating for me is I give people who have negative viewpoints validation, and don't validate the people who have positive viewpoints and who praise me.
That's a really great example, Angie. And it's very common.
I'm not unique. This happens with other people too.
Absolutely. It's very common. It's very, particularly for women, it can be challenging to let praise in, right? Because of all sorts of things that we've been taught through our upbringings. I came across a really interesting post this week on Facebook, and I thought it was the most appropriate term. This person called them, negative people a hijackal, because they are living in a realm of chaos, and they want to pull you into their chaos just to make themselves feel better. Like we were talking about earlier, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been hijacked twice this week. So I had to catch myself and rise back up above it. They say, be the better woman. And sometimes that can be really hard when you're dealing with a hijackal. But then you have to realize, what do I want to give my power to? Do I want to give my power away to this person, this negative person who's trying to pull me down into the pit? Or do I want to maintain my power and maintain my composure and respond appropriately in a good way that I can feel good about?
And here's the thing. A lot of people who are in those negative places to be do not want to leave it.
Oh,
they do not want to be pulled. They do not want to be pulled up. And my first instinct is to help someone. And the other part is then your help gets more rocks thrown at you for helping. Mm-hmm. And it's just keeping your own life moving. And even if you would like to, like I said, hang out with a group of friends for a while, a lot of times you just can't, because there's somebody in there who's negative, who's always going to be, thwarting your time. And it's just keeping moving forward and finding that space for making that space for yourself.
Yep.
You know what, Michele, it looks like we have like probably 14 people on the call. I'm kind of curious to hear from others if there was a situation this week where, you know, you felt that your conversation may be going a way that you weren't going to feel good at the end, and how you grounded yourself and kind of steered the conversation into another way. I don't know if Deborah or Monica or Shelley, if any of you had any situations like that this week.
This is Monica. I don't know if this is a great example of it, but I had a situation where I had to let someone go. A client was not happy with their performance, and the person, which is never fun for anybody, as we know, on either side of the fence. And as I was having, you know, explaining the situation to the person who felt that she was perfect in what she was doing, and trying to explain it had a lot to do with organizational changes, which it did, and budget changes and things like that. She chose to focus on, wait a minute, I've done a great job. I don't understand why, you know, I have to go in and convince the client to keep me. And, you know, my reaction, and part of what she did, and the reason I brought this example up is she gave me an example of a situation where she wanted to go on vacation and the client said not a good time, but she was going to support it. And so the person I was dealing with chose to blame the situation on her asking for vacation. And she started to put that back on me, that I should go back and push to the client. And normally, you know, that's tough for me because I don't like to have people in a tough situation like that. But I was kind of proud of myself because I stood my ground and I said, you know, you did not come to me letting me know you wanted to take this time off. It had to do with their mother's 80th birthday or something like that. I said, I can't comment on that because you did not make me aware, as you should have as your employer, that you were looking to take that time off. So I could not help you with that. So let's move beyond it. And she, you know, the good news is she's grasping for anything. It's a very small example, but it is a place where many times I would take that on and say, oh, I'm sorry, that's not fair. And I didn't, because frankly, she didn't manage it correctly. And rather than giving her the power of using that as an excuse for what was going on, I was kind of proud of myself for saying, okay, I'm not even going to, we're not going to have that conversation because I was not a part of that. And you chose not to make me a part of that. So it's not what we're talking about here. And fortunately, it did work. She backed off of it, but it's kind of a weird little example. I don't know if that fits what you're saying, but rather than taking on her issues, I took that opportunity to say, this really is not my issue. This has nothing to do with the situation because you chose to manage it outside of the way you should have managed it.
Absolutely. No, that's actually a great example of setting boundaries and allowing yourself to be Teflon. I like that term. I also call it, put my poop shield up to keep the bad stuff out and allow the good stuff to come in. But yeah, really managing your energy and your expectations of what was required and what was agreed to and not agreed to, right? And so when we don't do that, when we give in, we acquiesce, then that can very easily trigger that, oh God, I should have done that. Or why did I do that? And all that, and that starts to happen in our minds, right?
Which I've done often.
Yeah, well, we all do. We all do. So thank you for sharing that, Monica. That's really powerful. So the last principle of the mind is repetition, right? You take all the things we just talked about, and the more you repeat something to yourself, good or bad, the more you will get of that. So if you're constantly repeating to yourself, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, oh my God, why did I do that? I suck, this is bad, I'm wrong, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, then you will start to create that because, again, back to the science of it, energetically, your emotions are negative, more lower. So you're vibrating at a lower frequency, which then attracts to you more of that negative stuff because like attracts like. I love science. It's very cool. I used to call this all woo-woo, right? And then I realized, no, it's science. Yay, it's science. How exciting, right? So all of that said, I wanted to move on to share with you a little bit now about how, given those principles of the mind, how you can start to put them to good use and enable yourself to be more empowered, right? Because it's one thing to understand the principle, and it's another thing to put the principle to good use, okay? So I want to give you a little bit more information about this methodology that I've come to adopt in my work called rapid transformational therapy, or hypnotherapy, or RTT for short. And the differences between that and the coaching work that I do, because they go together really brilliantly, but they're both ways of helping you rewire your brain, rewire your thinking for greater success. So in a nutshell, the rapid transformational therapy is a hybrid of hypnotherapy, which combines NLP, psychotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapies, and really gets at the heart of an issue that's lurking in your subconscious that you can't get to. It's the thing that's stuck on the end of your nose. You know it's there, but you can't quite get it. That unscratchable itch that just moves around your body, but you can't ever seem to get it. Drove me crazy for years, right? And it will eliminate it because it helps create understanding around why you put that protective decision point into place in your life, and allows you to change the channel, to change the meaning around it, right? As I said earlier, it was developed by Marissa Peer. She's a world-renowned hypnotherapist, speaker, author, Mind Valley expert. And I like to call it rapid rewiring because it's literally what you're doing. You're rewiring your brain. And this process can be really, really powerful in dealing with an array of different things, from anxiety to career growth to confidence, to fears, phobia, motivation, nerves, insomnia, financial worries, even, weight issues, whether it's too much weight, not enough weight, and different types of addictive behaviors and PTSD. I've seen it used in an array of areas with tremendous, mind-blowing success. One of my colleagues who's a practitioner of this, in one session with Marissa Peer, she was cured of a rare genetic illness that had plagued her with pain her entire life. And I'm not making this up. It's just mind-blowing the positive impacts that this work can have. And it's all here. We all have this power within us to create these shifts. And sometimes you just need a little help to get at the things that's stuck in your subconscious mind that's running you. And it's been there for so long, you don't even realize it's there. So, in a just a short overview of how this process works, it has three parts: discovery, rewiring, and transformation. Right? The discovery part is a way of taking in data and information from you, with you, to understand what is that challenge, that thing that's really got you stuck, that you can't get beyond, that's holding you back. It might be physical, it might be emotional, it might be a mindset that you have about yourself, right? The second piece of a session is the rewiring, and that's where I actually drop you down into a very relaxed hypnotic state that enables you to turn off your critical thinking mind. That, what are you doing? What are we doing? All that. Turn that off, and enables your subconscious mind to be fully listening and open and available to you. Because I have this nifty little trick that helps you create a burst of alpha brain waves, which is your most suggestible brain state. It actually enables you to become a super learner. So it allows you to learn things more quickly and transform things more powerfully. And in that relaxed state of being, it enables us to get at and allow your subconscious to bubble up the answers, the reasons why this problem, challenge, fear, phobia was put into place to protect you. So with that understanding, you can create a different outcome. You can change the meaning of it from this adult perspective so that it's more empowering. And then all of that information feeds into the third piece, which I call the transformation. And that's where I have, while you're still in this hypnotic state, I have a dialogue with your subconscious, feeding you new empowering thoughts, beliefs, behaviors around the topic that we've been discussing. And then that part is recorded. So I give you that recording to listen to for 21 days. And this is the really key difference between previously done hypnotherapy and this particular methodology. Because in listening to that recording, that repetition, it helps create the new familiar track in your mindset of these new empowering beliefs and overwrites, releases, eliminates the previous disempowering mindset that you had before, right? So it's super powerful, and it works inside of weeks, not months or years. I've created amazing transformations for myself, both in my business and my health and well-being. Kathleen's raising her hand there too. She's had some amazing transformations as well. And I've had many, many clients around the world that I've worked with that have had extraordinary shifts. The example I gave earlier of the woman who, when she got to that next level, close to that next level of success in her business, she would have attacks of IBS for months. And so we had one session. And inside of that one session, she was able to understand what created the need for that. And on day 22, I got an email from her saying, yesterday was day 21. We had our biggest meeting today with a new client, and the fear response is gone. My IBS is complete, and it's no longer impacting me. My body is fully on board. And I'm like, yes, so it's just like so powerful for me to see these kinds of results for people. So one of my favorite quotes, and I find this to be really true, is from Dr. Henry Maudsley. He's a pioneering British psychiatrist from the 18th century. And he said, the sorrow that has no vent in tears makes other organs weep. And this is just so very true. A great example is this woman, Sean, who we did one session, and she had extremely, excessively sweaty hands and feet and had plagued her whole life. And through this rapid transformational hypnotherapy process, she understood why she had put it in place as a 3-year-old little girl, as a way to literally process her fears and her anxieties and her emotions, because she didn't have a voice as a 3-year-old. And so she literally was crying out of her hands and her feet. And in one session, it stopped. It's just extraordinary. So anyway, I'm really passionate about this stuff. This is why I have Kathleen to rein me back in, like, okay, we got to go, right? We got more stuff to share. So anyway, it's really powerful. I invite you to have a complimentary discovery session with me. If you're interested in learning more about it, I'd be happy to talk with you. It's free, and we'd have a 30-minute conversation. We can get that scheduled if that's of interest, but more on that later. But given everything we've talked about today, what I wanted to do now is take everything that we've been talking about and do kind of a mini version of this with you. We're going to do a transformation session, and we're going to spend probably 15 minutes in this next piece. And all you have to do is sit back and relax and listen. And allow yourself to be comfortable in your chair. If you're driving, please don't do this while you're driving. It's not advised to do this while you're driving. You want to be in a quiet place where you'll be undisturbed, and you can just sit back and allow this information to be absorbed. But before I go there, I just want to check in and see, does anybody have any questions? If you do, please unmute yourself and just pop in with any questions you might have. Nope. Okay, cool. I'll take that as a thumbs up. All right, great. So if everybody can go ahead and sit back, get comfortable, You're just going to get your listening on here. And I think we've got everybody. I'm going to mute everybody. So we're going to, as I said, we're recording this. And as part of being on the call today, I'm actually going to edit out this portion of the call, and I'll send it to you as a separate recording so you can actually listen to it for 21 days for yourself and see what kind of transformations you can start to create. Okay? So just a little bonus thing for you guys for being here with me today. All right. So go ahead. I'm going to put on my glasses, and then I'm going to pull my hair up just so it stays out of the way here. Anyway, no, I won't. I'll just leave it there. It's fine. All right. So everybody just relax. Take a deep breath in, making yourself comfortable with your feet and hands not quite touching. Just in an open receiving pose, knowing that you're going to receive some wonderful, empowering words and healing today. So just look up as high as you possibly can, as if you're looking into your own eyebrows. So just roll your eyes all the way up as you're looking into your own eyebrows. And it might feel a little uncomfortable, but that's okay. You won't have to stay here for very long. So keep your eyes rolled up, because when you're doing this, it's creating a burst of alpha brain waves. And this is the most suggestible brain wave at all. So you can begin by keeping your eyes glued to a real or imagined spot overhead as you breathe in and breathe out. Taking another deep breath in, breathe out. And each time you blink, that is hypnosis coming upon you. And just one more time, breathe in, keeping your eyeballs right up, all the way up. And as you exhale, just close your eyelids right down, all the way down. And as your eyelids shut down, you can feel the fluttering in your eyes, and that's a perfect sign that you're responding. It's a great sign as the muscles and nerves in and around your eyes are becoming heavy, droopy, drowsy. Your eyelids are starting to feel right now as if they've been glued shut, sealed shut, locked tight. And soon you'll find the harder you try to open your eyes, the more they feel glued shut, sealed shut, fused together. So just forget all about your eyes now and allow a drifting, floating feeling to develop in your body. And I want you to picture in your own mind's eye 10 steps descending. And it helps a lot if you just tilt your chin down ever so slightly as you get that same looking down feeling that you might get as you look over a balcony or down a flight of stairs. And you're looking down 10 steps now. And you're moving on to that 10th step as each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 9 and 8. And you can see your feet, hear your feet, even feel your feet treading each step as you move down, drift down, travel down to an even deeper level. You're taking step 7. Going deeper with every number I count. You're taking step 6 and 5. As each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 4 and 3. As you gently, calmly, easily move on over to an even deeper level. You're taking step 2 and 1. As you just go deeper, just drift deeper, sink deeper. And every time I click my fingers and say the words, go deeper, you are simply going deeper and deeper into an awareness of yourself. So just go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper into a deeper awareness of your internal state. of being. And I want you to simply imagine that your eyelids are glued shut, sealed shut, locked tight. So much so that the harder you try to open your eyes, the more they feel glued shut, sealed shut, locked together, fused together. And now I'm going to have you do a little test. I want you to put your arms out at shoulder height, as if you're holding on to the reins of a horse or the handlebars of a bike. So just stretch your arms out in front of you and close your palms as if you're holding on to something in each hand. That's perfect. And I want you to imagine in your left hand you're holding a huge red fire bucket that is filled with about 80 pounds of heavy, wet sand. And straight away you can feel the weight of that bucket in your left hand. And your left arm is becoming heavier and heavier by the second. And you can feel the weight in your wrist and your elbow and your shoulder as your arm is being pulled down more and more. And you can feel it in your fingertips and your wrist, your elbow, all the way up to your shoulder as the weight of that bucket of sand is pulling your arm down further and further and further. And as your left arm sinks down, drops down, pulls down from the sand, you are thinking, dropping, moving deeper into hypnosis. And your whole body is so heavy, it's sinking into the chair. And your eyes are so heavy they don't want to open, except for your right arm. In your right arm, you're holding a huge helium-filled balloon, a bright blue balloon that is bigger than you. It is so completely weightless, it is attached to your right arm, and your right arm is starting to float up, to move up, to drift up. And it feels as someone has attached a pulley to your right arm. And as they pull your right arm, it is floating, moving, lifting, traveling up all on its own accord. So one arm is completely weightless, traveling up, lifting up, and one arm is completely weighted down, pulling down, all because of your own ability to suggest, to accept suggestions. As your right arm floats up, it travels up, it lifts up. You are floating, moving, traveling, lifting deeper into hypnosis. And as your left arm is being pulled down, you are being pulled deeper and deeper into hypnosis. And now you're going to notice that even when you try to push that right arm down, it's like trying to push a balloon underwater, and it's springing up even higher. So try to push that right arm down that is holding the balloon, and notice that it just insists on staying up and springing up for me. And now try to lift your left arm, and it feels that it has been encased in concrete, in lead. It is so heavy, and you can see how incredibly suggestible you are, how amazingly suggestible you are. And as I count to 3 and click my fingers, you will let go of the bucket, let go of the balloon, and go at least 50 times deeper. On the count of 1, 2, 3, just sleep. That's perfect. And this is great news because you're already seeing how incredibly suggestible you are. And guess what? Every suggestion you take, every suggestion you accept, makes the next one easier and easier. And when you accept meaningless suggestions, the bucket, the balloon, the eyes being glued shut, then your mind will be absolutely wide open to meaningful suggestions about you being an outstanding, being an extraordinary woman, and being so amazing at what you do in the world. And so as you go deeper and deeper, knowing that you're going into a sleep of the nervous system, and your conscious mind is going to sleep while your subconscious mind is fully aware and listening to every word I have to say. And your inner mind understands everything, and your mind does what it thinks you want it to do. And you're letting your mind know that what you want, that what you insist on, that what you require of yourself What you give to yourself is to know with unshakable certainty, with absolute conviction that you are enough. And as you go deeper, you're aware that your strongest desire, the most powerful motivation, your most compelling ability is to be the most phenomenal, the most outstanding, the most amazing woman that you can be. And your mind does what it believes is in your very best interest. And you make sure that your mind knows that every day that what you're insisting, what you require of yourself, what you give to yourself is being this amazing, phenomenal woman, wife, partner, mother, sister, friend, mentor, friend. And you do this easily and effortlessly because you are enough. And every day you say to yourself, I am enough. And every time you brush your teeth or look in the mirror, you say, I am enough. You write it on your mirrors, you put it on your phone, you put it on your computer. And more than anything, you play this recording because as my voice goes with you, it has the most powerful, the most profound, the most compelling impact on you every single day. And every day your inner mind motivates you, it conditions you, it compels you, it programs you to know that you are enough. You know you are enough. And this knowing, this unshakable, unwavering knowing that you are enough resonates from you. It emanates from you and from your very pores, from every cell in your body. It comes from you and it has such a powerful, such a permanent, such an all-pervasive impact on you. This feeling that you are enough is overruling, overriding anything else. And every day your mind understands what you want, what you need, what you insist on, and what you give to yourself. What you require of yourself is to be the most amazing, phenomenal, unstoppable, highly successful woman. And every day your brilliant mind motivates you, conditions you. It programs you, it absolutely compels you to fully become the incredible woman you are and to own your own power. And every day you're commanding your mind, compelling your mind, directing your mind, instructing your brilliant, brilliant mind that you are an amazing and wonderful woman. And as my voice goes with you, my words are having a constant, consistent, ever-present, massive impact on you. And from this moment on, you're aware of a powerful healing transformation taking place in you. You know you are enough. You let that word in. You hear it over and over again, and my voice goes with you. And it has the most powerful healing effect on you. And with, and very soon without this recording, you hear my voice reminding you that you are enough. You see it on your mirrors, you see it on your phone, you see it on your laptop, you see it everywhere, and you know it to be the absolute truth of who you are. You let that word in. You just let it in. And this knowing that you are enough is overriding, wiping out, shattering, smashing, eradicating, erasing any other beliefs to the contrary. You have so much power to know that you are enough. You tap into that power. You use that power every single day. And every time you hear these words, and you hear them a lot, you drift to a deep healing level. And every time you hear them, you sink into this deep healing level because your mind influences your body and you influence your mind. And you have made up your mind, set your mind, programmed and conditioned your mind to know that you are enough. Your mind just lets it in. It sinks in like lotion on dry skin. It just goes in and you absorb it. And it has such an impact on you. Because your body is controlled by a network of intelligence which is influenced by your mind. And as you go deeper, you have the power to be an extraordinary woman. You're expanding and increasing your self-confidence and your self-worth right now. You have the power. You take that power. You own that power. You have an image of yourself doing outstanding work. You are super skilled, extraordinarily talented, and highly gifted. You are in demand. You do what you love, and you absolutely love what you do. And this image is already so clear, so real, so lifelike, because absolutely everything is in the right place at the right time, because you are enough. And your mind is motivating you, conditioning you, compelling you, and programming you to know that you are enough. And you know that every week, every single week, someone on the planet breathes easier because of you. Because when you change one person's life, it is the same as changing the life of all of humanity. And that means that you make a massive difference, that you have huge purpose. And you do what you love, and you love what you do, and you have the most wonderful balance because you give and receive. You give of yourself, you give of your talents, you give of your brilliant mind and expertise. And as you do that, you give your brilliance, your talent, your genius, and you receive a salary that suits you, that sustains you, that supports you fully, easily, and completely, with abundance. And it gives you the lifestyle that you require and you desire. So you give and receive every day, just like breathing. You allow yourself to receive all the abundance, all the love that is available to you, because you know that you are enough, that you are worthy and you are deserving of this abundance, this love, this self-acceptance. And this image of you as the most extraordinary, amazing woman is so clear, so real, so lifelike. It is you. It is so you more and more with every single moment that passes and every single day. Because right now, everything is in the right place at the right time, making that happen. And all you need to do is think these thoughts and hear these words and see these images. And you let these suggestions in. You respond powerfully and beautifully and superbly to these direct mental commands. And you listen to this recording every day, and my voice goes with you, and my voice stays embedded with you. And my voice has a powerful, permanent, all-pervasive, positive impact on you. So as you hear these words, you think these thoughts, you completely accept these suggestions. And they have a powerful, wonderful, motivating impact on you. And you respond to every suggestion perfectly. And you understand that every habit of action is, of course, run by a habit of thought. And since your habit of thought is always, always, I am enough. I am gifted. I am talented. I am brilliant. I do phenomenal work. I create great value. I create powerful, positive shifts in all the lives of those I touch. So as you go deeper, you can see yourself as enough. You see and accept yourself as stellar, as awesome, amazing, as brilliant, this amazing, brilliant woman. And you feel so good about yourself because your confidence is growing daily, because you know you are enough. You know that you are capable. You know that you are worthy of success. And you are blissfully, happily, totally confident, absolutely at ease, completely self-assured and comfortable in your skin. You got this because you are enough. And every time you hear these words, you go to such a deep healing level, and you will powerfully absorb this truth. You are enough. You own it. You believe it. You hear those words over and over again, and you repeat them to yourself on a daily basis. You feel empowered. You feel transformed. You feel liberated. You feel free. You feel that you know that you are enough. And every day, just hearing these words as you listen to this recording and thinking these thoughts and seeing these images is having such a powerful, positive effect on you. Every day, these words just go in, and you respond perfectly to these direct mental commands because, of course, every time you do nothing more than hear these words, these direct mental commands, you respond perfectly, brilliantly, because your mind is picturing every word I'm saying. And every word you hear is causing your mind to picture, to manifest, to create, to activate everything I'm describing. And you move from one phenomenal accomplishment to the next. And every day you move from one exciting accomplishment to the next, because every day you are so successful, you are so gifted, you are so talented, knowing that the universe is supporting you 1000%. And every day this image is so clear, so real, so lifelike, so attainable. It is you. It is you more so with every moment that passes and every breath that you take. So knowing it, feeling it, living it, achieving it, feeling amazing, feeling excited, feeling really powerful and ready to go, feeling extraordinary, because this is your statement of truth. I am enough. And you repeat it to yourself over and over as you listen to this recording with every passing day. You share your gifts, you expand your confidence and your knowing, because your expertise is extraordinary, because you are enough. You are an amazing woman. So every day you say these words, I am enough. You say them first thing in the morning, you say them the last thing at night, you say them in the shower. You say them on your journey to work. And you know, as you say the statement of truth, I am enough, your brilliant, brilliant mind is absolutely creating that for you. So just let yourself go deeper. And as you go deeper, this image of you knowing that you are enough, making it a living, walking, talking part of who you are, so that everyone else around you knows it too. The image is so clear, so real, so lifelike. It is so very attainable. It is more so with every single moment that passes, that you absolutely know that you are enough. You know it, you speak it, you say it, you own it. You embrace it, you adopt it, you let it in. It becomes who you are, and it has a healing effect on you. This is what you do, this is who you are, and the more you do it, the easier it is. And the easier it is, the more you do it. So knowing it, feeling it, owning it, embracing it, living it, making your own, making it what you do, making it who you are. When you're ready, you can slowly, calmly, easily return to your full awareness on the count of 1 and 2, feeling at ease, feeling invigorated, on the count of 3 and 4, feeling so energized, feeling extraordinary, feeling wonderful. And on the count of 5, just open up your eyes and fill up your lungs and take a deep breath in, feeling so good about yourself with a smile on your face, knowing that you are enough right now. So welcome back, ladies. I've unmuted everyone. Oh, I thought I did. How are you feeling? How was that for you? Did you ladies enjoy that?
Is everybody muted?
No, we unmuted everyone. Shelley, Deborah, Andrea, how was that for you ladies?
It was good for me. Thank you.
Sometimes people fall off and they have a hard time coming back, I found, so. Or they're kind of in that.
Hey, this is Shelley. Yeah, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. And I really related to all the things everyone said, and it was great to hear. You know, so many people with common, you know, we all do the same thing, take on other people's feelings in front of our own and think we're not enough. So it was perfect.
Wonderful. So what questions do you all have about what we've talked about today, what you experienced in the transformation piece? Any questions about any of that? Kathleen's furiously typing.
I was trying to think of a great question to ask. So I think I'm curious about this because I don't know how many people on the line have done meditation or hypnotherapy or anything like that. But I think I'm just curious of if this is the first time anyone has tried something like this and how it felt.
It's a great question. Have any of you all done meditation or this form of hypnotherapy in any way, shape, or form previously? I'm curious.
This is Shelley. Yeah, I've been doing meditation, doing Headspace, and I really like that. And also kind of following this thing called Miracle Morning. I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's a lot around affirmations. So, it's very compatible, how we talk to ourselves. But this is the first time that I've experienced this sort of more guided, deeper process with someone else's words and focusing really just on the concept of I am enough, which is kind of encapsulates all the other affirmations, really. So, yeah, it was really, really intriguing.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shelley.
Thanks for sharing. I know the first time I tried meditation, I was like, oh, this is crap. This isn't going to do anything for me. And ironically, after doing it quite a few times, I got down to like, wow, I can actually sit still for 30 minutes and then feel much more centered, controlling my energy. So I was just curious. And for this space, I'm more comfortable sitting up in a chair with my feet on the ground. I tried it laying down, and for me, I really like it better with my feet on the ground. So I just appreciate the work that you're doing, Michele, and thanks for sharing it with all of us on the line.
Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Well, we're just slightly over the hour, so I want to respect everyone's time. So does anyone have any other questions? No? Okay. Well, as we mentioned at the top of the call, as a second gift for you all for being here today and participating, I'll also share with you via email my latest ebook called Saying No with Grace and Grit. It's an ebook along with a guided MP3 relaxation, hypnotherapy meditation, similar to what we just went through. And I know you'll find it very beneficial, so feel free to grab that in the email. You'll be able to download it for yourself. And also, if you have any questions about this that pop up for you later and you'd like to schedule the time to talk with me, please feel free to reach out. I'd be more than delighted to speak with you and answer any questions you might have about this process or some of the challenges that you might be faced with in your world. So I also want to give a big thank you to Kathleen for helping me out and helping me stay on track today. We could talk about this stuff all day long, and I would love it. And I know you guys have busy lives. So that's great. If you guys want to put your, I have everybody's email, so it's okay. So any last questions before we sign off? I know what I was going to do. I have really pretty graphics too that I forgot to show you. I'll do the screen share here. La 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 la. There we go. There's the how to get out of overwhelm, saying no with grace and grit. You'll get this in an email here later today. And then lastly, if I can be of service, if you want to email me, please do. My email is michele@nectarconsulting.com. And you can read more about the work that I do at nectarconsulting.com. And I'm happy to be of service to you all. So it's been my sincere pleasure and my honor to be with you here today. So thank you for spending this time out of your busy schedules. And I'll be sending the link to the replay of this recording out as well and the extra special bonus recordings that I mentioned. So thank you, everyone. You have a blessed day, and I'll look forward to seeing you hopefully next month on December 15th, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time for our last Wonder Woman call of the year. All right. Many blessings, everyone. Take care.